Mufasi's got the rage, let it flow. Holding on to stories, tales untold. He's the king of the ring, the last man standing. Dropkick the Commute.
Hello and welcome to Dropkick the Commute. We are back with a regular episode. We just had our biggest episode yet. We interviewed Big Boom AJ of AEW. That was an absolutely fire interview. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. But I am back to talk about wrestling. I'm not going to cover the stuff that happened last week. Obviously, we had John Cena do his big, promo in the ring. He made that kid cry, get a good meme from that. We had a lot happen last week, but I'm not going to cover that. We're just going to start fresh, and we are heading into WrestleMania in just under a month here, so we're going to keep the ball rolling. Raw is on right now as I'm recording this, so we're not going to cover that today, but I'll cover it later this week. But the big thing I want to talk about today is the show that happened last night, FSW Mecca 10 Benefit for Bey. I didn't start it there. It's not a benefit. It was Benefit for Bey. This was Chris Bey's benefit show that FSW put on, and we had an absolutely stacked card. This was a really fun show, and I think overall, this show showed that wrestling can be special. No matter what you hear from the IWC, no matter what you hear in the toxic internet space around you, this show was a very special moment in professional wrestling, and it was such a blast to watch, and we had some just really good moments that came from this show. So let's hop into it. Let's get going. Starting off our first match, we had a big battle royal. The pay-per-view started, and the majority of the people were already in the ring, but the people that did come out were AJ Francis and Disco something. I've never seen the Disco guy before, but he came out and he was doing a little disco dance, and he's like, I'm gonna shake everyone's hand, and AJ Francis immediately threw him over. So AJ Francis was definitely the biggest name in this match. Of course, AJ Francis I've seen wrestle in TNA and obviously WWE. Flop Dollar. He is no longer Flop Dollar. He's pretty good. I like AJ Francis a lot. I think his character is silly, and he put on a good showing in this match. So, lots of silly spots. It's a battle royal. There's just total chaos. I want to say there was roughly 20 people in the ring. It was probably 20. That's what it seemed like anyway, but we had lots of back and forth, just people getting eliminated left and right. I did not know 90% of the people in this match, like I said, but it was a fun match. This is also, I'm realizing, kind of the first indie show that I've watched on anything. Like, I've seen indie wrestling in person before. I saw an indie show when I was a lot younger, so I barely remember it. And then I've seen it, here and there. I've seen clips. When I was in high school, I saw Blitzkrieg Pro at one point, Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling. Other than that, I'm realizing that this is really the first indie show that I've really watched. So it was kind of cool to watch. Obviously you have a lot of up and coming talent here. FSW is definitely one of the bigger indie shows. We've had so many people go through here. Solo Sikoa, Ricochet, Swerve Strickland, so many big names. Obviously Chris Bey. They've all made their way through FSW. A lot of them started here, and they are where they are now. But anyway, the battle royal, the final two was Action Braxton and AJ Francis, and they had a really good back and forth, and then AJ Francis ended up getting eliminated by Action Braxton, so he won the battle royal. So that was really good. After that, Swerve Strickland came out. Apparently Swerve was supposed to compete, but he wasn't cleared to compete. I guess he still has a ruptured eardrum, so he wasn't able to compete at FSW, but he did come out and cut a promo, thanking Chris Bey, thanking everybody here, doing all that, thanking everyone for donating to Chris Bey and all that stuff. and Kenny King ended up coming out, who is another big like FSW name. Kenny King came out and he was like, Swerve, you gotta promise we're gonna have this match, because that's who he was supposed to face. So they had a back and forth promo and were like, you gotta promise me after you're done doing your big stuff, after you're AEW champion again, come back here and face me like a man. So Swerve promised Kenny King that he will be back and he will face him sometime this year. After that, Swerve left the ring and we ended up having a 5-way for the FSW World title, which was Danny Limelight, who is the champion, I guess. Frankie Kazarian showed up, G Sharp, Ice Williams, and Kenny King. This was a fun match. Obviously, total chaos as 5-ways go. Frankie Kazarian, I love watching Frankie Kazarian wrestle ever since I started watching TNA. He's probably one of my favorites, and he was in AEW for a bit, but that was kind of like before my time. I might have seen him wrestle in AEW, but I don't remember it really in my head. So he's definitely one of the bigger TNA names. He's been there like from the start, so watching him on the show with these young guys was definitely a lot of fun. Danny Limelight did end up retaining, but it was a fun match overall. We didn't have any like big title changes on the show, but every match was a great time. The next one was crazy. It was a 4-way tag featuring the Rascals, which obviously the Rascals are always fun to watch. Everyone in this match was the Rascals, Lights Camera Faction, which I guess is Fresco and Watson, Makeshift Chemistry, and the Unguided. I was very impressed by the Unguided. Again, I've never seen them before, but they had this really, really fun spot where one of them, again, I'm so sorry, I don't know their names off the top of my head because these are all new people to me, but one of them held him up on his shoulders, and the other one jumped off the turnbuckle, hit a hidden blade midair, and then the guy that was holding him kind of flipped him down and put him into a Styles Clash. Right after this, we had so many suicide dives from like every team outside of the ring, tons of jumps, and the Rascals did pick up the dub here. You know, this was just a high-flying, like, action fest, spot fest, if you will. It was just really fun. Like, this was one of the funnest matches on the show, and it's what wrestling's all about. It was just a really, really entertaining match, and I loved it. After that, RVD came out. Of course, RVD, a legend in the business, and kind of cut the same shtick as Swerve did, with a lot more fucks in there. But he, he's, again, thanking everybody for watching the show, thanking everybody for being there, celebrating Chris and all that. After RVD's promo, we had Katie Forbes versus Gypsy Mac. Katie Forbes is RVD's wife. I have never seen her before, so that was something. But RVD was obviously standing in the corner of Katie Forbes outside the ring, and Gypsy Mac comes out to Spirit Box? Hello? That's fire? Big fan there. She fucking comes out the Holy Roller. What a theme song. That's good stuff right there, brother. But again, this was another really fun match. This was for the FSW women's title, and Gypsy Mac ended up retaining. Again, just a fun match. Like, I can't really point out any big spots here. I kind of had it on in the background, but it was just fun, and that's what it's all about. It's two great wrestlers celebrating Chris Bey. Again, in the end, Gypsy retained, and she ended the match going, RVD, and she did a 5-star onto Katie Forbes. So that was a fun little moment there. After that, we had a trios tag between BYP, Jai Vidal, I think that's his name, and Rhino versus Alex Zane, who I remember from MLP, the first MLP show. He is the Taco Bell man. He hails from the nearest Taco Bell drive-thru. His signature moves are the cinnamon twist and the taco driver. Incredible. You have the perfect character. On Alex Zane's team was Arya Davari and Nino Black, and this was a fun match. Of course, at the end, we had to hit him with some EC dub, and we got gore, and he spears, I want to say he speared Arya Davari through a door. So, A gore through a door. Another high-flying, action-filled match. Rich Swann versus Ricochet. This was definitely one of my favorites of the night. Ricochet was kind of the babyface in this match, which was interesting. I would say they were both kind of baby faces, but I think people, when you get to the indie level, like, people are just excited to see Ricochet, you know? So usually when Ricochet comes out on AEW, he gets booed to all hell, but the people loved Ricochet here. Also a former FSW wrestler, made his way through FSW and obviously onto WWE and now AEW. So this was a fun match from him and Rich Swann. They did a really funny like dance-off bit where Rich Swann was like, you know, they're going for the wiggly fingers and the arm wrench, and Rich Swann puts his arm up and then he moves. So Ricochet goes for it, and then he moves, and then he moves, and then they made him dance. So Rich Swann tricked Ricochet into dancing, and they had a little dance off, and then Ricochet was like, fuck this, and just clotheslines Rich Swann. Overall, this was just a really bouncy, fun, high-flying match. Very good stuff. Ooh, okay. I lied. My match of the night was the Fatal 4-Way women's match. Brooke Havoc, Brittany Brooks, Jada Stone, and Maserati. This was a really fun match. Shout out to Brooke Havoc. She's a Paramore girly. She was repping the Paramore gear. Apparently, I looked up Brooke Havoc. Apparently, she is trained at the Nightmare Factory, so that's fun. Little Cody Rhodes action there. But yeah, this was really good. Brittany Brooks did get the dub, and Brittany Brooks is apparently Chris Bey's girlfriend. I'm learning a lot of lore from this show, so that's a lot of fun. Brittany Brooks comes out to fucking Britney Spears. It's Britney, bitch. She comes out, and yeah, this was just a really, really fun match. I'm gonna keep saying that because, again, it was just a fun night. It was a fun show. Two more matches: Lio Rush, Johnny TV, and Ace Austin. Triple threat. This was good stuff. Lots of fast back and forth between everybody. Johnny TV can move, dude. Like, I watch him on AEW every once in a while, and obviously he's like, I don't know, he's put in these like lower card matches, but he can fucking move, man. He was going fast. He still got it. He came out as John Morrison, which was fun. They announced Johnny TV, Johnny Nitro, all that stuff, but he came out as John Morrison. Really good stuff from Ace Austin. Obviously, they needed to make Ace Austin look really, really fucking good in this match, and they very much succeeded. And that's not downplaying Ace Austin at all. Ace Austin is incredible, as we've seen in TNA, especially his work with Chris Bey, but Ace Austin needed to be like top tier in this match because he is Chris Bey's tag team partner, and I think they really accomplished that. Everyone did. After the first like really fast back and forth sequence, Lio Rush left the ring and he took a mic, and he's like, no, like, I'm done here. I'm not dealing with this shit. And he goes to leave. Ace Austin grabs the mic and he goes, hey, Lio, sounds to me like you're a little bitch. So Leo's like, oh yeah, I'm a little bitch. And they're talking back and forth. Johnny TV takes the mic, hits Ace with it, and he's like, if anyone's getting the win here, I am. And he hits him with the mic, goes to pin him. Ace Austin kicks out. And then they have a little back and forth sequence, and it ends with them kicking each other. And Lio Rush sprints back to the ring, goes for the pin on both of them. They both kicked out. Then to kind of end this, Ace Austin is standing on the corner. Lio Rush is up there with him. Ace pushes him off into a Johnny TV super kick. And then they have a little back and forth. And Ace ends up fucking running in there. I don't know what his move is called, but he fucking decks Lio Rush and ends up putting him on top of Johnny and pins both of them and gets the dub there. So that was a really good moment. Obviously, again, Ace Austin looking strong in this match, and as he should, because he's Chris Bey's tag team partner in ABC. Then our big main event, we had Hammerstone versus Karrion Kross. Huge cheers for Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, arguably the biggest name on this card, being from WWE. You know, he's been through FSW, born and raised there, essentially. NXT, now on WWE. Hammerstone was actually looking the strongest in this match. He dominated for the first half. Lots of physical, like, meat wrestling in this match. Chops back and forth, lots of corner hits and shit like that. And the ref ends up getting knocked out when Hammerstone goes to run into Carrion. He hits the ref gets knocked out of the ring, and then they end up leaving the ring. They walk over to like the announce table and the timekeepers area, and Karrion Kross picks up a mic. He like tries to turn it on. He gets it turned on. He goes, "Hi," and then he beats the shit out of Hammerstone with it. Like, that was such a goofy ass moment. Then they make their way into the crowd, but I don't know what the fuck happened after this, because the stream on Triller TV just completely cut out, and it was gone for a good like 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes. It was good. It was gone for a good like 3 minutes, and they ended up being back in the ring when the stream resumed. But so that was rather unfortunate. But the commentators were saying that they apparently had a thumb war in the ring. So, like, that must have been real goofy. I did not get to see it. Maybe I'll see if anyone had any, like, crowd footage of that part. But they apparently had a thumb war, and then there was a chair in the ring. They used the chair a little bit. We had a big, like, jackknife powerbomb. I guess that's what they call it. But they had a big jackknife powerbomb from Hammerstone. Kross ends up kicking out at 1. Hammerstone goes to do his finishing move. Karrion Kross's legs, like, he landed on his fucking legs, and his legs, like, folded behind him. Oh, it was scary. It was a scary moment, but Karrion seemed to be fine, so that's good. He ends up kicking out, and he ends up putting Hammerstone into, like, a rear chokehold, and Hammerstone ends up tapping out. So that is how that ended. It was a very physical match, very fun. Lots of back and forth from the both of them, and Hammerstone and Karrion both looked really, really strong in this. So they get up, they shake hands and all that stuff. He's like, "Come here, you bastard," and they hug it out. Karrion grabs the mic and he goes to talk to the crowd, again, you know, thanking them for everything. And Danny Limelight, who is, again, the current FSW champion, comes out and starts to talk shit. He's like, "Oh my God, you guys are pieces of garbage. You guys left this place, and the only reason this show could happen is because I have been carrying this company for over 200 days. And they don't want to hear it, so they put his ass down, and Karrion picks back up the mic, and he's like, "All right, now that that's done, let's bring out Chris Bey." And this was such a special moment. Chris Bey ends up walking to the ring with Brittany Brooks, who, again, is his girlfriend. They end up walking to the ring. Chris Bey gets in the ring, which is, you know, that's like massive considering a few months ago he couldn't even walk. So he walks in the ring, and just a very, very emotional moment. You guys got to go look it up if you haven't seen it already. This whole show was 100% worth watching. Chris Bey, thanks everybody. Thanks everyone in the back. Thanks his friends in the ring. Thanks the crowd. Thanks everyone watching at home. And this was just probably one of the most special moments we'll get in wrestling this year. I'm sure we're going to get some other big stuff, but this was really special from Chris Bey and everyone that put this show on. I think it was a good way to have a benefit for Chris Bey. I highly recommend you guys go watch this show. You can watch it on Triller TV Plus. They do a 7-day free subscription. It's only like $7.99 for a month. So if you want to watch this show and watch a bunch of other stuff, you definitely should. I will put Chris Bey's GoFundMe in the description if you guys want to donate to it or check it out. They are essentially using all the funds from the GoFundMe to make it so that he can focus on his health and he doesn't have to worry about bills and shit like that. He is focusing on recovery, and if he can somehow someday get back in the ring, that is going to be an incredible, incredible thing that we could possibly see. This man can walk again, and there was only like an 8% chance that he was ever going to walk again. So I think that is about it for this episode. Again, I'm not going to cover all like the weekly stuff that we missed because there was a lot, but you know, we had the John Cena thing on Raw. We had lots of stuff on NXT, big Dynamite show coming up in 3 weeks from now. Dynamite will officially be lasting longer than WCW did. So that's pretty fire. But remember, AEW's dead in 2 years or whatever. Once again, if you guys didn't check out my interview with Big Boom AJ, go check that out. He's got a lot of life advice there. Talks about his future with AEW and just a whole bunch of other stuff regarding like his content and shit like that. So check that out. We have another quiz coming up soon, and I will be posting more My Rise content. So thank you guys for watching, supporting. I appreciate it. And Dropkick your week, baby. Woo! Bye bye. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Beep beep.